It's Kosher MGTOW. Welcome to another reflection video, a reaction video. Tyra Banks show, one extreme versus the other extreme. We'll have a different video to talk about a little bit later, but let's focus and zero in on the righteous woman. The woman that does everything exactly just right. The woman that is orthodox. The woman that does everything by the rule, for God, for herself, for her significant other. I'd like you to listen to this. We're going to reflect on it. Fair use. Enjoy. This is Kosher MGTOW. Proud Jewish woman shares tradition of mikvah on the Tyra Banks Show.
Crampswood does have an interesting period tradition. What is your tradition?
Hi, Tyra.
Hi.
I'm a Hasidic Orthodox Jew.
So first off, you can notice clearly she is wearing a wig. You see the nose. And they're talking about women's periods on these shows. You wonder what the demographic is for the people that are watching these shows.
Our culture, married women separate from our spouses. We don't move out of the house. We live in the same house, but we separate physically from our spouse for the duration of our period.
That is very, very challenging. Just imagine that. You have an individual, a woman, who is going through her menstrual cycle, and during that time, according to the most orthodox of the Jewish faith, you cannot have any contact whatsoever with the opposite sex, and it goes so far as to include actual items as well. You will not believe this if you've never heard of it before.
Then once the period's over, we do an exam to make sure that the period stopped.
How do you do the exam to make sure it
use
stops?
a white cloth, a cotton white cloth, very specified type of an absorbent fabric. You do insert it internally to check that your period actually stopped. And you kind of get rid of the residual bleeding that way. And then you start counting what are called the 7 white days, where you wear white undergarments. And then for 7 days, you do an exam as well, just to make sure that there's no bleeding. And once the 7 days are over, we go to this place called the mikvah.
Can you believe this? There's a strong likelihood that in the most orthodox of faiths, in a Jewish household, you can have a man and a woman inside of the same home not having any physical touch or connection at all whatsoever, no kissing, no sex for a period that could be as long as 2 full weeks per month. What is a man supposed to do during these 2 weeks off? Imagine things?
a facility that every Jewish community has and prioritizes in their community. It has basically, they're spa-like and beautiful. You have bathrooms, and then in a separate room there's the mikvah, which is kind of like a little swimming pool. You prepare in one of the bathrooms that are, heated stone floors with beautiful products. You prepare by removing all intervening substances from your body, like nail polish, makeup, jewelry, comb out your hair, and then the mikvah attendant, another woman, brings you into the mikvah room. You immerse in the water, and you say a blessing. It's a time for women to pray, and the gates of heaven are open just for women at that moment. You say a blessing, and then husband and wife resume physical relationships, sexual relationships.
Are you lost yet? These women have to go somewhere to be purified once their periods are over, just so that they can get back into the groove of things, to get back with their husbands, and to reignite the passion and the flame that is their relationship, their marriage, or etc. I don't know. This is off the wall, but for those in the Jewish faith that are Orthodox, this is a regular occurrence for those in relationships and marriages.
So you don't see your husband for 12 days?
You see each other. You live in the same home. We just have separate beds, no hugging, no kissing, no touching. And then once that time ends and you're immersed in the mikvah, everything becomes new again.
Now, what? This is, if you were to tell this to somebody off the street, they would give you the third degree. They would give you evil looks. You can see in the background there's this woman here. Her mouth is about ready to drop to the floor. This one's already half asleep. She's like, I'm not saying no prayer after my period. And if Tyra's trying to get down to the bottom of this, why on earth would someone want to subject themselves to it? If this is the most righteous way to go, if everything is done to perfection and you have, the nail polish removed and the toenails done over and your real hair being combed out and the prayer being said. I don't know. Tyra's going to try to get to the bottom of this.
If you break the rule and he's like, oh, and you're like, oh, and you have relations.
We are totally committed to this. So it's what happens is there are laws during that time of separation that help you make it easy for you not to touch. You love each other. You live in the same home. We don't even pass things directly into each other's hands.
Did you hear that? You can't even pass things along to each other's hands. Isn't that ridiculous? Like if you wanted to pass along a pen or a piece of paper, or if you wanted to pass along a folder or a checkbook, you can't even do that. What do you got to do? You got to put it on the table first before the other person picks it up? This is actually happening in the most orthodox of Jewish households.
And we don't hug or kiss. So you're not really doing anything that will lead to that.
Did you see the look on that woman's face? And with her eyes bugging out of her head, I don't even know if she's even telling the truth. She might be reading off of a teleprompter. A lot of these people that are talking on these shows have these guest spots where they memorize lines and then they talk up a storm. I assume that this is real. She looks the part. She's got the long skirt. She's got the wig on. I don't know.
And, we broke the rules.
Yes.
Because you're really living separately. You become kind of like roommates and best buddies. You get to develop the parts of your relationship, intellectual, emotional parts. As a woman,
I can see a lot of women that are not Hasidic Jews that would probably love that part. Like, gosh,
Totally.
12 days, he ain't got to touch me.
Right.
I don't feel like doing anything. And then I love the end part where it's like the spa-like thing, and like that tradition is so beautiful.
Yeah, you get to go to this spa once a month.
That's
and you get
fantastic.
A honeymoon. And it's so exciting to be back with your husband again, and every touch.
So exciting to be back with your husband again. You get these 12 days off so that way you can flirt and tease, but you can't do anything physically touching at all whatsoever. 12 days a month, men. 12 days a month. What are you going to do on those 12 days? You're going to pass along a piece of paper with a heart on it?
Become special again.
Very nice. We'll be right back.
Is that a smile? Is that laughter? Is that a purposeful grin? What is Tyra trying to make out of this? And what are those other three doing on the stage? And why are all these women cheering? This is Kosher MGTOW. Figure it out.